So you DJ, are you still doing that? Are you taking time off, or are you totally done with that right now? Or
I haven't done a DJ shift for 8 months, I think. But they've had me back to visit a lot, and that's fun. But yeah, I'm on an indefinite leave. Yeah.
Okay, so all of us up here, we're all students, and we're running the station the best we can. But being a broadcaster and having done that for a while now, do you have any advice maybe you can pass on to us as to how to work in the real world doing something like that?
Doing radio?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, my advice would just be to maybe I have a few pieces of advice for you. First of all, let me keep this clean.
Fire away.
Okay. No, I would say continue doing it, and if you really love it, be prepared to be rather broke, move a lot, and just sort of keep your eye on that ball. If you want to get into like the administrative part of radio, you'll probably make more money. But DJs, by and large, are working very few hours in most places now. It's so pre-recorded that some people, they pay them like $15 an hour, and then they say record a 6-hour show in 1 hour. It's really ridiculous. So find a great station, keep in touch with people, have great relationships, keep in contact, and just be as entrepreneurial as you can. As that means like starting your own private station or doing something online, do that as well. I think get your hands in as many different sort of musical pots as you can. I'm mixing metaphors somehow, but
it works.
It works. Definitely. Yeah.
And be yourself. I hear so many you have a great natural personality, and it comes through, and I love that. And I would say the number one thing I see people doing, I don't want to say wrong, but sort of wasting their time at, is working on their voice and spending a whole lot of money doing voice classes and like cultivating a personality. Nobody cares. People want to hear you and get they want to connect with somebody on the other side, somebody that hopefully knows something, can pass that knowledge along, and maybe even entertain them or inspire them in the process. So that's what I think is the most important thing to cultivate. Not, hey, everybody, 40 minutes nonstop new rock coming up. Nobody cares about that.
That's an incredible way to think about it then. Wow. So what would you consider to be some of your greatest musical influences?
I'd probably some of the bands I just named. And then, going back, stuff I grew up with was sort of all over the place. And I didn't listen to a whole lot of rock, actually, growing up. But my mother's Russian, so there was Russian music. There was a lot of Brazilian music, Latin music. My father was a big, big jazz guy, still is. So tons of, Miles and Wynton Marsalis, and there was a lot of musical theater stuff, Beatles, Barbra Streisand, Liza Minnelli, all that.
Very eclectic background.
It's all over the place. So did you find when you were starting, I don't even know where I'm going with this.
That's okay. I'll edit this part out.
Yeah, we'll edit that part out. Okay. Reset.
Mm-hmm.
Minute 11:59.
11:30.
But this is the best part. The mistake. Come on.
Right?
Don't edit this out. This is
leave
proof.
it in there.
This is proof that you're going to have a great career in radio, because you can get over this minor little speed bump that we had.
That's true, I guess. Yeah. Well, okay, here's a new topic.
Okay.
I don't watch the show, so I'm sorry I didn't hear it, but I know one of your songs was featured on Grey's Anatomy recently. I don't know, Annie, do you watch?
Was it Move You?
Yeah, I've had Move You on there. I've had a song from my other record, Miss Halfway. I've had a few.
Oh, so several. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you watch the show, Annie?
Not specifically.
No. Okay. So neither of us saw it then.
Okay, I'm leaving.
Did you watch the show when these songs were on, or do you watch it regularly or anything like that? Like, when you heard it was going to be on, did you tune in and watch it?
I sure did, and invited 15 of my closest friends and made popcorn, and we sat by the television set like it was 1950, and we had just gotten a TV, and we were staring at the screen with our mouths open the whole time, waiting, and nothing. And then I realized I had somehow gotten the day wrong. So it was
no.
highly embarrassing. And then the next week, my sister and I watched it together, and it was really strange.
Do you remember what was going on in the scene that matched the song or anything like that?
I do. Izzy, who was who's the Katherine Heigl character, accidentally became inebriated and found herself in a loving embrace with her best friend George. And they used a lot of the song, like 2.5 minutes, which was crazy. And it was so loud. I kept yelling at the TV going, "It's so loud, it's so loud." Because if you watch Grey's Anatomy, you kind of know that a lot of the music isn't really background.
It's like the fray.
Yeah, and it's like, here's a song. It's like, did you ever see Magnolia?
Yeah.
It's certainly not like that where everybody's lip syncing the song. But in a way, the music is almost a character on the show. It really complements the scenes, and that's what I love so much about not only the creators of the show, but also Alexandra Patsavas, who's the music supervisor, who also signed me to her record label. But I think she has such impeccable taste in music, and I don't mean to pat myself on the back by saying that, but I love how, all the stuff that she likes. She turns me on to new bands all the time, and I love that that the show sort of allows music to be used in that way and doesn't just stuff it way back.
Now, I don't know how that usually works when artists get their music featured on a show. Do you find out a few weeks ahead of time as they're editing the show down, or do they come to you and say, hey, we'd like to use your music, or do they kind of decide it on their own and then ask you later? Like, how does that whole process work? How did you find out that you were maybe the first time you were going to be featured on the show? How did you find out about that?
I found out via the telephone at the time because I didn't have a manager or anything, so I got a phone call saying, we got your CD in the mail, because I had sent out like 200 CDs to a bunch of music supervisors, and one out of 200 called back, and it happened to be the Grey's Anatomy people. I can't go into exactly what I said or shouted to the person on the other line because I don't want to offend the listeners, but suffice it to say there were some expletives used. I thought it was a friend crank calling me.
Oh, no.
Oh.
Yeah, but so I believe that I apologized several times after that to the person on the other line, saying, "No, I really, really would love to be on the show. I thought that you were my sister playing a joke on me." So that was how I found out. And I think the process of how songs are chosen is sort of like there are people in an office and they open envelopes and listen to all the CDs and go through them and then say, these are our top whatever 20, let's say, and then they narrow that down maybe even more to like a mix CD of like their top, 10, 15. And they give that to Alex, and she figures out what scenes those would be appropriate to. And then the artist always absolutely has the right to say no, and I've said no to things before too. I believe there was a snack of some kind that wanted to use one of my songs recently. Yeah, like a sort of unhealthy snack, and I said no, thank you though. But please send me some snacks.
Yes. No, I will not be in your commercial, but I would love your treats.